Well, I'm being inducted into the Canadian News Hall of Fame tonight. It was a shock when I was nominated. I figure it's because if you hang around in journalism long enough, they got to give you an award. And there's so many great journalists who are part of this hall. From the Sun alone, Peter Worthington, Doug Creighton, J.D. McFarlane. There's just so many. Lester Payette, who hired me, Andy Donato, and then so many other journalists that I grew up just like they were my idols in other media. So it's a great honor. I'm really looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it because the best thing was going to be that Christie Blatchford and I were going to be inducted on the same night tonight. I've known Christie for 40 years. I've been her friend. I've been a reporter who competed with her, a columnist, and I was her editor at The Sun. And I'm just so fond of her, and she's such a great journalist. Unfortunately, she can't be here tonight. She's being treated for cancer, and she's talked about that, so I'm not letting any secrets out. But I'm going to make sure that we talk a lot about Christie Blatchford tonight.
It's such an honor to be here tonight because Christie Blatchford is going to be honored as well. Christie is everybody's favorite. There's an expression about an MVP, the most valuable player in sports. Well, she's my MVJ, the most valuable journalist in this country. Every newspaper in this city of any stature has wanted to have Blatchford. I was privileged to have her at the Toronto Sun. I'm now privileged to have her at the National Post. She is, to me, one of the most read columnists in the country. And the reason why, she gets to the point, she writes on the facts, she never exaggerates, but she tells it the way it is. Christie Blatchford is my favorite columnist of all time. All I want to tell you tonight is how proud I am of Lorrie Goldstein. To tell you that when I joined The Sun in 1984, he was already a 6 or 7 year professional there. And I watched him cover City Hall, I watched him cover Queen's Park, I watched him grow in the job, become city editor. He took on more tasks than anyone else. He deserves this tremendous honor in so many ways. Somebody who's been at The Sun for 41 years, he has Suns tattooed everywhere on him because he loves the paper. He's made the Toronto Sun the paper that it is, and he's well-deserving member of this Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Lorrie. We love you.
The first time I met Lorrie Goldstein, it was across from the boardroom table in the Toronto Sun editorial board meeting for a very awkward mayor's meeting when I was working for a certain candidate at the time. And after I left the City Hall, Lorrie was part of the group of wonderful people that brought me onto the Toronto Sun to be the comment page editor and fortunately now editor-in-chief. Not only has he become a friend, he's a mentor, and he is that touchstone that every news outlet needs. He's the voice of reason. He's a voice of calm. He has institutional memory of the Sun and so many other organizations that Lorrie is truly the go-to person when things do get harried, and they certainly do in our business. He's the one person I certainly can, and many of in our newsroom that can rely on to give great advice and always be common sense approach to so many of the things that are happening in our country.
And he was a great editor. He was my editor for several years. He laughed at every cartoon I ever drew. I don't think he even rejected any, but I really liked the guy. He defended me in front of the press council, and he would have been a great lawyer. Matter of fact, he was a better lawyer than he was a newsman. No, maybe not. He's in the Hall of Fame. Here's to you, Lorrie.
Lorrie Goldstein, the editor emeritus of the Toronto Sun. What can I say about him? I met him first on radio, doing radio panels with News Talk 1010. And Lorrie has this phenomenal quality that he is always the voice of reason. I mean, even on things that he's passionate about, he's always reasonably passionate. He's got a really deep interest in the environment. He can always spot the flaw in somebody's argument. But he is the type of guy that, as a fairly new person in newspaper management, I can pick up the phone anytime, just about day or night, and ask Lorrie, so what do you think about this? And he's always got a well-reasoned answer. gives you both sides of the argument, lots of advice. And you can always trust him for good copy. Out of nowhere, you can pick up the phone and say, we need 1,000 words, 500 words on any topic you name. And he can figure it out. I pick up the phone regularly and say, Lorrie, what was our position on this? Because I think, should it change? And he is the corporate memory of the organization. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight to recognize the contribution that he's made not only to the Sun, but to journalism, not only in Toronto, but across Canada. Lorrie, well done, congratulations.